A factory, manufacturing plant or a production plant is an industrial site, often a complex consisting of several buildings filled with machinery, where workers manufacture items or operate machines which process each item into another. They are a critical part of modern economic production, with the majority of the world's goods being created or processed within factories. Factories arose with the introduction of machinery during the Industrial Revolution, when the capital and space requirements became too great for cottage industry or workshops. Early factories that contained small amounts of machinery, such as 1 or 2 spinning mules, and fewer than a dozen workers have been called glorified workshops. Most modern factories have large warehouses or warehouse-like facilities that contain heavy equipment used for assembly line production. Large factories tend to be located with access to multiple modes of transportation, with some having rail, highway and water loading and unloading facilities. In some countries like Australia, it is common to call a factory building a shed. Factories may either make discrete products or some type of continuously produced material, such as chemicals, pulp and paper, or refined oil products. Factories manufacturing chemicals are often called plants and may have most of their equipment, tanks, pressure vessels, chemical reactors, pumps and piping outdoors and operated from control rooms. Oil refineries have most of their equipment outdoors. Discrete products may be final goods, or parts and sub-assemblies which are made into final products elsewhere. Factories may be supplied parts from elsewhere or make them from raw materials. Continuous production industries typically use heat or electricity to transform streams of raw materials into finished products. The term mill originally referred to the milling of grain, which usually used natural resources such as water or wind power until those were displaced by steam power in the 19th century. Because many processes like spinning and weaving, iron rolling, and paper manufacturing were originally powered by water, the term survives as in steel mill, paper mill, etc. Max Weber considered production during ancient times as never warranting classification as factories, with methods of production and the contemporary economic situation incomparable to modern or even pre-modern developments of industry. In ancient times, the earliest production limited to the household, developed into a separate endeavor independent to the place of inhabitation, with production at that time only beginning to be characteristic of industry, termed as unfree shop industry, a situation caused especially under the reign of the Egyptian pharaoh, with slave employment and no differentiation of skills within the slave group comparable to modern definitions as division of labor. According to translations of Demosthenes and Herodotus, Naucratis was or the only, factory in the entirety of ancient Egypt. A source of 1983 states the largest factory production in ancient times was of 120 slaves within 4th century BC. Athens. An article within the New York Times article dated the 13th of October 2011 states, in African cave, signs of an ancient paint factory, discovered at Blombos Cave, a cave on the south coast of South Africa where 100,000-year-old tools and ingredients were found, with which early modern humans mixed an ochre-based paint. Although the Cambridge Online Dictionary definition of factory states, a building or set of buildings where large amounts of goods are made using machines elsewhere, the utilization of machines presupposes social cooperation and the division of labor. The first machine is stated by one source to have been traps used to assist with the capturing of animals. Corresponding to the machine is a mechanism operating independently or with very little force by interaction from a human, with a capacity for use repeatedly, with operation exactly the same on every occasion of functioning. The wheel was invented c. 3000 BC. The spoked wheels c. 2000 BC. The Iron Age began approximately 1200 to 1000 BC. However, other sources define machinery as a means of production. Archaeology provides a date for the earliest city as 5000 BC as Tel Brak. Therefore, a date for cooperation and factors of demand by an increased community size and population to make something like factory-level production a conceivable necessity. Archaeologist Bonnet unearthed the foundations of numerous workshops in the city of Karma, proving that as early as 2000 BC Karma was a large urban capital. The watermill was first made in the Persian Empire sometime before 350 BC. In the 3rd century BC, Philo of Byzantium describes a water-driven wheel in his technical treatises. Factories producing garum were common in the Roman Empire. The Barbuggle aqueduct and mills are an industrial complex from the 2nd century AD found in southern France. By the time of the 4th Sun,